Good day to everyone. Welcome to another edition of our mathematics presentation. Okay, let us now take on the rules in multiplying fraction by another fraction. Rule number 1. To multiply fraction by another fraction, multiply the numerator of the first fraction to the numerator of the second fraction. Then the result will be the numerator of your answer. Next, multiply also the denominator of the first fraction to the denominator of the second fraction. Then the result will be the denominator of your answer. Then try to look at your fractions. Is your fraction in the lowest term? If your fraction is not yet in the lowest term, you have to reduce the fraction to its lowest term. How to reduce fraction to its lowest term? Okay, I have already discussed that in my previous video, so try to look at the video, try to review the video, because I have uploaded a video about how to reduce fraction to its lowest term. Okay, we will take into example number 1. Okay, fraction is 5/7 times 2/3. Okay, 5/7 times 2/3. So again, it's follow the rule. Multiply the numerator. 5 times 2, we have 10, and 7 times 3, we have 21. So looking at the fraction, the numerator and the denominator, we can find no common factor because 10 has a factor of 2 times 5, and you have 10 times 1, while the denominator has a factor of also of 7 times 3 and 21 times 1. So they have no common factor. Therefore, we can say that this fraction can no longer be reduced. So let's proceed to example number 2. 1/2 times 4/8 or 4/8. So again, multiplying the two numerator, we have 1 times 4, we will get 4. Then denominator is 2 times 8, we have 16. So looking at the fraction, our answers, we have 4/16. So 4/16 is not yet in the lowest term. Why? Because the two numbers are not yet in a prime numbers. So 4 has a factor of 2 times 2, while 16 has a factor of 4 times 4. And take note that 16 is divisible by 4. So we may use 4 as our common divisor to reduce the fraction to its lowest term because 16 is divisible by 4. So we will divide 4 by 4, 16 by 4 also, and the result will be 1/4. So the fraction now is in its lowest term. Okay, let's have another example. So I take these exercises from your module. So you may use this as your reference in answering your module. Okay, example number 1. 18 times 1/3. Now again, applying the rule in multiplying fraction. So we multiply numerator 8 times 1, we have 8, and multiply the denominator which is 10 times 3, result is 30. Now, take note that the fraction is not yet in the lowest term. How do we know that the fraction is not yet in the lowest term? Take note that 8 is still a composite number. It has still factors of 4 times 2 and 8 times 1. So the 30 is also a composite number. It has still a factor of 5 times 6 and 15 times 2. Now, determining the greatest common factor of the two numbers, we have only 2 as its common factor. So we will only use 2 to reduce the fraction to its lowest term. So 8 divided by 2 and 30 divided by 2. So result is 4/15 because 8 divided by 2 will give us 4, 30 divided by 2 will give us 15. So 4/15 is now in the lowest term. Why? The factors of 4 is only 2 times 2 and 4 times 1, while 15 has a factor of 3 times 5. They have no common factor, so they are considered as fraction in the lowest term. Now let's go to example number 2. 2/4 times 10/11. Now multiply the numerator again. 2 times 10, we have 20. 4 times 11, we we have 44. Now, looking at the fraction, 20 over 44, they are not yet in its lowest term. So, we will try to look for its greatest common factor. So, what will be the greatest common factor? So, 20 has a factor of 4 times 5, 10 times 2. So, 44 has also a factor of 11 times 4. And we have 22 times 2. The greatest common factor is 4. So, we will use 4 as the common divisor so that we can reduce the fraction to its lowest term. So, 20 divided by 4 will give us 5. 44 divided by 4 will give us 11. So, the result will be 5 over 11. So, 5 over 11 is now in the lowest term because we can no longer find common factors for 5 and 11 except 1. We have another example taken from your module. So, again, this will be your reference when you have to answer your module. Okay, 2/3 times 5, 6. Okay, again, applying the rule. Multiply the numerator, 2 times 5. We have 10. Denominator, 3 times 6. We have 18. 10 and 18 is not in the lowest term because they are still composite numbers. So, we will find their common factors. Factors of 10 is 5 times 2. Factors of 18, we have 9 times 2, 3 times 6. But the common factors is only 2. So, we will use 2 to reduce the fraction to its lowest term. So, 10 divided by 2 will give us 5. 18 divided by 2 will give us 9. The result will be 5, 9, which is the fraction in its lowest term. So, example number 2. We have 3, 8 times 4, 5. Okay. Multiply 3 and 4, which is the numerator. Result is 12. 8 times 3, which is the denominators of the two fractions. We have 40. So, answer is 12 over 40. Okay, take note that 12 and 40 are all composite numbers. So, we will find their common factors. 12 has a factor of 3 times 4. 40 has a factors of 10 times 4. So, the greatest common factor is 4. So, we will use 4 in reducing the fraction to its lowest term. So, we have 12 divided by 4 will give us 3. 40 divided by 4, we have 10. So, our fraction in the lowest term is 3 over 10. How do we know that 3 over 10 is already in the lowest term? 3 is a composite number and we can no longer reduce this one. And 10 has only a factor of 2 times 5, 10 times 1, no common factor at all. So, this is considered as a fraction in its lowest term. Okay, let's now try to solve for the last example. We have 3/5 times 1/3. So, again, multiply the numerator, 3 times 1. We have 3. 5 times 3, we have 15. So, try to look at the fraction. Is this fraction in the lowest term? Although 3 is already a prime numbers, but 15 has a factors of 3 times 5. So, we can still reduce the fraction by using 3 as our common divisor. So, we will divide 3 by 3. We have 1. 15 by 3. We have 5. So, the fraction is 1 over 5, which is now in the lowest term. Okay. Take note of example number 2. 3, 8 times 4, 5. So, again, multiply the numerator. 3 times 4, we have 12. 8 times 5, we have 40. So, these numbers are not yet in the lowest term. So, we can still reduce this one. So, we have 12 divided by 4. 40 divided by 4. The result is 3 over 10. Why do we use 4 in reducing the fraction? Because this is the greatest number that can divide 12 and 40 exactly without remainder. So, getting 4 as our common factors will be able to reduce the fraction to its lowest term. Okay, this is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. To all my subscribers, thank you. For those who have just tuned in to my channel, not forget to share, like, and subscribe so that you will be notified for the next videos that I will be uploading. Thank you very much and God bless us all.